Hello everyone and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we launch tiny green men into space and attempt to do lots of science. In the last episode we showed you a little bit of what I consider a bit of an exploit in this system. And in this episode we're going to test two things before we take our rocket to the moon, because they're both very easy. They both give a largish amount of sciences. 160 science simply for testing this engine cluster, and 167 science for testing this engine. You can also test the turbojet engine landed at Kerbin, and that doesn't give me nearly as much science though, so I'm not gonna do it, because I'm lazy. And testing these is quite as simple as doing like literally nothing. So we are going to fit this with a Probodyne. Don't really need much for this, just grab a battery. I want to grab this battery right here. A line of static solar panels. There we go. Now this thing isn't going to do science at all. It's just here to do things. Okay, so we get to test this Probodyne advanced engine, which takes a ton of fuel. And we get to test this engine cluster, which also takes a lot of fuel. But they both have really good thrust. The only bad thing about doing this is I'm not sure if I have an adapter to be able to launch this. And I guess that can only go one direction. Looks like I won't be able to do... Again, this can only be done in one direction? That's kind of stupid. Or can this thing simply just not have anything attached to it besides a fuel tank, maybe? Yeah, this thing won't let me attach anything to it. Alright, let's just do that. I don't think this thing has any fuel, but nothing else was attaching. Yep. It does not have anything. Holy balls! Jesus Christ! When is this thing running out of fuel? Does this not run out of fuel ever? Because it says no liquid fuel, but I'm going. Oh, I think I know what's going on here. I was messing around a little bit. I know exactly what's wrong with this. There's a cheat menu in this game, and I completely forgot when I was messing around doing things. I was testing out some jets to see if I could crash into mission control. I did not have good enough abilities. But anyway, yeah, that was fun while it lasted. Anyway, you can hit Alt or the mod key depending on what your system is. Like for Macs and Linksys, it's very different. But for Windows, it's Alt and then F12. Brings up a cheat menu. I was just messing around with infinite fuel a little bit earlier. And bye-bye. Yes! Catastrophic success. Because that is a good mission done. Gives me a buttload of science, which I love. Contract complete. Thanks for the science. And next we are going to test the other one. There we go. Get rid of this. And then the other engine. This one does need a fuel tank, I think, because I don't think this thing comes with its own fuel. Alright, so I just need one of the fuel cans that's very wide. Because I don't believe I have any 3.5 meter parts. I don't want to give this thing a ton of fuel. That's the thing. That shouldn't work, but it will. And we are going to quickly just do this, and revving at full throttle! I'm pretty sure if I tried to put any Kerbal through that, they'd die. That burned out quickly because I didn't give it that much fuel, but wow. That kind of height in that little time. That one got to 5,160 in like, what was it, 5 seconds? Holy crap. Anyway, this thing's exploding. And it might destroy the runway. I did not think of this. Wow, that runway is actually really capable of taking a beating. Anyway, both of those give me a lot of science. So yeah, it's definitely worth your time to do those, especially if you've got like an increase to your science via your strategies. And I can actually get a lot of these things now. And it's just a question of which one do I want. Do I want to make rovers already? Or do I want some advanced electrics to get different science experiments? Or do I want Gigantor solar arrays? Do I want... Nah, I don't want ion propulsion yet. I'm not ready to go interplanetary. Unmanned tech gives me 2 much better probes, as well as ascent landing in spaceplane. But again, I'm not interested in the autopilot. I've used it like twice. And, some stuff there. I'm not really into high altitude flight and advanced aerodynamics. The only other thing I would be interested in is composites. Because you can make a very good probe with composites. Not a probe, a rover. But it's very hard to, yeah. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the electrics, because it gets me the gamma ray sensor, the dual technique magnetometer, the double C seismic accelerometer, and the IR telescope. And kablammy. We'll go ahead and see what that unlocked. Stuff that I can't get yet because it needs 500 science. Specialized electrics and advanced science tech. Great. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the stuff that I unlocked. Alright, so what did I unlock? I unlocked the Communitron 8888, which it takes a lot more electricity but sends data farther and faster, basically. The double C accelerometer, it's a lot different in this mod with Interstellar, because normally you just slap it on your machine and as long as you're on the ground it can detect seismic activity. In this one you need to land it in certain places and then smash stuff into a lunar surface. So, the dual technique magnetometer is used to measure magnetic fields. Gamma ray obviously measures radioactive elements. Helium cryosat is for the IR telescope. Now the IR telescope is very... well, I don't know too much about it, to be honest, but I do know it requires helium cryosat fed with, I think, electricity. And if you don't maintain it, it burns through the cryosat very fast, and if it runs out of cryosat, it no longer functions. The helium. So anyway, we're just going to go ahead and load up the... where is it? Where's the Mun lander? Mun lander. Load. Okay. Now, I actually ran through a couple tests, and I don't know if this can get me to the Mun. I really don't. I know it will be able to get me to and from Mimnus very easily because of the amount of fuel it has. But I don't think I can get to and from Mun here, because I think the engine that I have on this thing, while it's just barely enough thrust to lift all this, it's not efficient enough. So I might wind up doing a complete redesign, which I will of course cut out. Ugh. Oh god, about an hour later and we are back. Designing my most expensive, my heaviest, and my tallest rocket yet. And none of this would have been possible without missions. Because I got a mission to test the Rockamax mainsail. And the Rockamax mainsail is one of the best engines to get within the moon in the game, because it's got a thrust of 1500, which is really damn good. So I should be able to get all of these, orbit, transmit and recover data, land on and recover scientific data from Mun. Now, there is one small thing about this that's actually going to be a bit annoying. Annoying, that's a word. I won't be able to bring the Mark II lander command module because... Whoa. Completely forgot about all this. Well, anyway. Go ahead and send that for the mission. And go ahead and go back to the Space Center. Anyway, the Mark II is 2.5 meter instead of 1.5, and I don't feel even although I could probably do it with the mainsail, with the current technology that I have, I probably wouldn't be able to achieve an orbit with a pod that large. So, as mentioned, if I can... It didn't load it. How dare it? See, contains experimental parts. I'm using experimental parts for this. So I'm using 5 Rockamax mainsail engines with 3 jumbo fuel tanks. And there's one part of this design I'm actually taking off, is these little Sepatrons. Because I was testing this part in atmosphere, and I was finding that they were, you know... And then when I tested it out of atmosphere, the Sepatrons actually caused things to explode. Anyway, these giant fuel tanks are fed into these rockets, and they're asparagus stage so that the ones on the outer half feed into the ones on this side, and then these feed into this, so as these two are burning, all 3 of these stay full, and then these drop away, then as these 2 are burning, this one stays full, and then they drop away. And then up here, I've got a little something right here. Same setup, it's just that instead I'm using KW Maverick engines, which are 230 thrust, and in the middle an LV909, which is only 50 thrust but has very good fuel efficiency. Here I have got 6 wheels, and I should be able to land all these with the engines still attached. And then obviously I've got my scrambling of science equipment, including the new stuff. Well, one of the new things, which is... Where did you go? Aha! This thing, it's the seismic thing. It's useful, let's just say that. And of course RCS, inline stabilization. The only thing that's a bit of a worry is the fact that all of this force is being pushed up here, so this could be a bit wobbly. And of course I'm only going to be able to crew it with one, so Jebediah is the lucky victim. And we will achieve all the moon stuff this episode. Now we must wait for conditions to be optimal. Huh, that's weird. I thought I had this set to orbit mode. Orbit info. There you go. Okay. So let's go ahead and turn on stability assist RCS. Jebediah, are you ready to make history? No, you're not, because I completely forgot to set the action groups. And I don't want to do anything until I set the action groups. So I definitely feel okay with reverting that flight. Alright, so abort is the science. And when I finally upgrade this to full, I could set it to something like 1 or something. So it will log any pressure. And obviously the seismic things, they don't log pressure anymore. You have to deploy them and then collide stuff into the surface. And we logged temperature. Observe the materials bay. Observe the mystery goo. And where is it? Log magnetometer stuff thing. Alright, let's go ahead and save that. And of course I completely forgot, I need to toggle solar panels. Toggle panels. There we go. Now we are ready to launch. Now, this is going to require a lot of speeding up and maybe some post-editing, so... Alright, we have got the conditions to do this. And we are ready to do all the things. There we go. I forgot to throttle all the way up at the beginning. Hopefully that doesn't bite me in the ass. But you can see, extremely stable. Not rotating too much. The only bad thing with these mainsail engines is that they overheat. As you can see already, they're overheating, so you have to lower the thrust and increase the thrust. You have to kind of baby it into place, but we're going to keep the thrust all the way up for now. Try to get a meter per second as much as possible. And now they're getting a little bit bad, so let's lower it so they'll get a little bit better. There we go. Keep going. Those are done. Drop them away. Alright, and our time to apoapse is slowly increasing, which is always a good thing. There we go. I hate having to lower them, and it's just really annoying. That's the only bad thing about these mainsail engines, is that if they overheat, they explode! And those purple things are something. Something you don't need to worry about. There we go. Keep thrusting up and turn on our side. I missed the window a little bit, but that's fine. Alright, and lower the thrust to compensate for overheating. This is the most tricky part. And now that there's no overheating, throttle all the way up. I should be able to keep the throttle all the way up for the foreseeable future now. Time to periapse is pretty long, thankfully. Alright, these two engines are going to drop away soon. And there they go. Bye-bye! Good riddance! Alright, let's go ahead and now lock prograde. Just make it a little bit more hands-free. Crap, that's overheating pretty quick. Let's go ahead and lower that all the way. And wait until our apoapse is, I'd say at 85 to do all the things. Let's go ahead and do that. Get those solar panels out. Did the solar panels get out? I don't know. Oh, the apoapse is a little bit higher than I meant for it to be, but that's fine. And the solar panels are indeed out. Am I in time acceleration? I didn't think I was. But yeah, we are here. I'm pretty sure I got all the stuff I need from here. Except for maybe the magnetosometer thing. If I can remember where the hell I put that on here. There we are. Log magnetic data. Oh, can't be. I have to do that in orbit. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you a feature of MechJeb that I will not be using because it's basically easy mode. If you set a maneuver node, there we go, almost completely circular, don't really, yep, 101, 88, 94, okay, 94. Okay, if you have the technology researched, you can go into MechJeb, go into Maneuver Planner, and if you have a maneuver node already set, you can tell it to execute that node with a certain tolerance, let's say 0.5 meters per second. And it could you can tell it to execute that node, and based on your engine's power and the amount of time you need to get there, it'll time accelerate for you. It'll make sure that it's aligned. It'll time accelerate until it's close. See, they're completely hands-free, not touching my keyboard at all. It's great for commentators, and great for people who are having a lot of trouble with it. But this is only for me to show you. And it'll burn at the appropriate time, which is right now. And just gotta wait for it. As you can tell, it burned at a certain point because that's the point in my orbit where it would have been most efficient to do this. You can also set it under settings to avoid overheating, because if you don't do that, things will overheat on you and explode. And now we are within what it would be tolerance, so there we go. That is the maneuver planner. Now I don't need the orbit info. And we are in orbit. Pretty close to what I was shooting for. Okay, so now we're going to go into the magnetic thing. Where are you? You're along here somewhere. It's hard to see because I forgot to add lights, which was intelligent. Alright, we're going to activate it. And you could tell the antimatter flux. So you could tell how much antimatter is being trapped by the gravitational field of the planet. And now we're going to log the atmospheric data and keep it and deactivate this thing. I'm just going to quick save it in EVA with Jebediah. And, yeah, he needs to collect that data. So that way I can collect magnetic data from, say, maybe, the moon. Go ahead and collect that data. There we go. Going on EVA just requires some practice, especially if you don't flatten out the ship like I just did. There we are, grab. Okay, so now what we need to do in order to get an encounter with the Mun, or with Mimnus for that matter, is click on it once you have the ability to plan flights and set it as a target. If I can press the right button. There we go. Now, here's the ascending and descending nodes. That's basically the point in your orbit where if you burn prograde, you will meet it along its inclination for its orbit. Now, the Mun's over here, and it's moving along this way. So, if I burn along here, my chances of meeting it are pretty low. Let's go ahead and do that. Yep, as you can see, target at closest, that's my closest approach, and that's where my target is. So, I either need to wait a little bit or burn somewhere else, which I'm going to do. I'm going to burn somewhere else. Do I have any missions to gain science from the atmosphere? Probably not. I could probably go back and get it real quick. Let's go ahead and choose from here. And the good thing about this is I'm flying into the sun, so I'm going to have plenty of power from my solar panels. Yep, as you can see, the Mun is nowhere close to me. But if I do that, the Mun is close to me, because I'm going beyond its orbit and back along mine. And when I go back along mine, it is there. I will encounter it here. It'll be here. And that will be my apoapse and my escape. Now you can toggle this a little bit to try to get it so that you're closer, like that. See, now that's a little better. There we go. See, by doing this, I'm gonna probably put myself into a relatively polar orbit, maybe. See, the good thing about this is if I screw up and don't have enough fuel, and I can just simply escape Mun and immediately wind up back. However, this right here is the perfect place for me to kill my velocity and get into orbit. And according to this, I will be in kind of a skewed orbit. It's not exactly polar, but it's not a bad orbit. And it's gonna take quite a long time to get there. Now, here comes the tricky part. Even with stability and all that fun stuff, and SAS and RCS, maneuvering your craft to get to the node when you still have the bottom stage is actually pretty difficult. As you can tell, I'm not doing a very good job. And I have to get this done within 6 minutes, so I'm gonna... You can do it, I believe in you! How much monopropellant do I have? Oh, a decent chunk. Come on. Almost there. Okay, now... Come on. Nope, nope, nope. You were so close. You were so close. I really wish I had maneuver node tracking available. I got spoiled by that because I started in career mode. Ah, damn it. Oh, come on, come on, come on. No, 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 no. You know what? MechJeb, help me. I'm only doing this so that it'll get along the friggin' vector, because this is getting annoying. And then I could just tell it to abort the node execution once it puts me over the thing, because that's annoying. I mean, I could do it, but it's because of the fact that I still have this giant tank of fuel. And once we're over it, I'm going to tell it to abort the node execution. And there we go. Abort that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and quick save it. Can't tell if I'm quick saving or not because... There we go. And now we're going to accelerate ahead a little bit. T-minus 4. 3, 2, 1 minute. Alright. We've come off the maneuver node a little bit. Alright, there we are. Now, I've got plenty of fuel, so I think I'm going to burn about... When it says T-minus 15 seconds. Damn, overcorrection. I wish I simply just had maneuver assist. As you can tell, what I'm doing is I'm pretty much burning prograde, but with a slight twist. Yes, I know, phone. You don't need to tell me that my timer's going. Okay. Now let's see if I can keep it here. It is actually a lot easier to steer this thing when the engine's going. Trying to keep it aligned with the engine is pretty tough. Almost there. Oh, almost there. Oh. Alright. Oh god. I made a mistake there, but otherwise I think I went pretty well. Let's go ahead and kill my next maneuver node, because it looks like I overshot it a little bit. Alright, yep, looks like I overshot it just a little bit, so what I'm going to do is burn retrograde for a few seconds. Just wait for my ship to get within retrograde. Make sure to keep an eye on my fuel. I'd like to have a little bit left in the stage by the time I reach mono-orbit. God, this is the annoying part. I probably should have put the RCS on this main tank. Would have been a little easier to maneuver like that. Alright, come on. Just get over the marker. Oh my god. This is the annoying part. When it's going back and forth over it. Right now, I'm manually helping it by hitting pitch. Yeah, I was just manually helping it. Do you think you can finally align over the retrograde marker, please? So that way I can make the correction? Apparently not. Oh my god. Please just align over the goddamn marker. I'm like this close to using Mech Jeb, I swear. Okay. So let's increase the throttle just a little bit. Oh. There we are. That's an encounter. It's not a good one, but... Oh. Damn, a little too much. As you can tell right now, it's actually changing with... It's so fine-tuned right now, it's changing with my ship's movements. Yeah, and I'm definitely going to have to change this, because right now this would lead me to escaping the solar system, so... This is my first time showing this, so I'm not speeding it up or cutting away or doing anything. Oh, come on. Really telling me that you're going to overshoot it by that much? Oh, come on. Oh, is it finally stopping? See, this is just annoying. I'm manually helping it out right now, slowing it down, because if I don't slow it down for it, it's going to be ridiculously far. Alright. Now let's just burn a... Never mind. Burn a little bit. Oh, there we go. That's perfect right there, because that's going to bring us almost perfectly equilateral. And then we can just make a burn from the periapsy to kill velocity. If I could, you know, please. Please let me edit it, thank you. Sometimes these maneuver nodes can get a little annoying. There we go. It's going to take 8 seconds, and that would put me in a ridiculously too tight orbit. Okay, that would put me into an orbit of 18. Wow, that's close. I'm going to make the orbit a little less ridiculous than that. 38 by 267. That's perfect. That'll allow me to get high science data and low science data. And all that just from burning prograde, so I don't need to mess with trying to track the maneuver node. And here's the part where we can really speed up. But we are just about to enter high Kerbin orbit, so I don't know if I've got a crew report from here yet. Whoa, my electrical charge is depleting. Why? Oh, it's depleting very fast, actually. Let's go ahead and stop stability assist. Alright. Alright, let's go ahead and do that crew report. Alright, that's not something we need it to do. But let's go ahead and... where is it? I should probably have memorized this by now. Log atmospheric magnetic data. High in space over Kerbin. That gives me quite a bit more science. Magnetic field is much weaker at this altitude and there are far more cosmic rays. Is that safe? Probably not. Alright. Anyway. It's time to enjoy the calming vastness of space by speeding up. Whee! Alright, I should probably collect that data now, though. Oh, did not mean to IVA, I meant to EVA. I don't know if I have an EVA report from high over Kerbin. No, I do not! Alright. Let's go ahead and find out which direction I'm going in. Try not to go too far away from the ship, if at all possible. Alright, almost there. Back off a little bit. This is a delicate balancing process. It's fine, collect the data. And now we find our way back to the pod. Hopefully without breaking the solar panels. Solar panels are fragile. Do not go into them too quickly. They will explode. There we go. Got all that. Go ahead and quickly quick save it and time accelerate. Oh, don't do it in this mode though. Because you want to be in this mode for when you do eventually cross the orbit. Because sometimes when you cross the orbit, things change on you. I should know. It's happened to me quite a few times. Like for example, I could cross into its orbit and find out I'm on a collision course with it. And that's not good. I am not on a collision course with it, actually, and turns out that it's perfect the way it is, I believe. Now, it's very important to go into orbit, because if you don't go into orbit, then you can't pick your landing site. You just gotta roll with whatever the game gave to you. Yeesh, that's bad time. Oh, too much. 30... okay, that's perfect. It only requires a 5-second perfectly prograde burn, so... let's go ahead, prograde. Hopefully I'm not losing too much electricity by doing this. I mean, I shouldn't be. I've got 3 solar panels going. And this burn will occur in an hour, so I can time accelerate a bit ahead here. Oh, shit! That's why you quick save. Damn it. I just quick saved over the quick save that I meant to reload. Well, I'm about to escape Mun, and then eventually escape the solar system, too. Oh, no I'm not. Oh, yes I am. I don't know why it just gave me false hope right there. It's like, oh hey, you're not gonna die. Yes, you are. Alright, gotta kill velocity here. And just get back into orbit and not die. It's a 14-second burn. So not only was that a complete waste in every other sense of the word, but now I have to go back to Kerbin and try this all over again. So I'll meet you guys back in orbit because I was stupid. This will happen. I don't care how long this episode is, this will happen.